So strange, so futuristic, and so shockingly ahead of its time that people in 1955 genuinely believed it wasn't a car at all. They thought it was a spaceship, a machine so daring that when it debuted at the Paris Motor Show, it didn't just impress, it broke history. In the first 15 minutes, over 700 customers placed an order. By the end of the first day, more than 12,000 people signed checks. And remember, this wasn't a Ferrari. This wasn't a V12 monster. This wasn't German engineering. This was the Citroën DS, the most innovative and most beautifully weird car Europe ever built. The magic suspension that changed the world. The DS became famous for one thing: its hydro-pneumatic suspension. Yes, the name sounds like a sci-fi energy weapon, and honestly, it might as well be. While every other car in the 1950s used simple springs and shocks, the DS used a full, centralized hydraulic system filled with pressurized nitrogen gas and LHM mineral hydraulic fluid, all controlled by a powerful engine-driven pump. The result? A ride so smooth, so unreal, that people called it the magic carpet. It glided over potholes, floated over broken roads, and delivered comfort that was literally unmatched anywhere in the world. And France needed this. The country's post-war roads were absolutely brutal. But the DS made all-terrain feel like glass. Then came the real genius: self-leveling ability. Load 5 people into the car, fill the trunk with luggage, the DS automatically raised itself to the perfect height. No sag, no tilt, no drama. Just pure, controlled elegance. And the quirk that made owners fall in love? A manual ride height adjustment lever inside the cabin. You could raise the car like an off-roader or drop it down low for high-speed cruising. It was basically a hydraulic lowrider decades before lowriders became cool. But the most famous party trick? The DS could drive on 3 wheels. Yes, 3. If one tire got shot or punctured, the hydraulic system compensated, keeping the car stable enough to continue moving. This wasn't a gimmick, it saved a life. In 1962, during an assassination attempt on French President Charles de Gaulle, the DS continued driving even after a tire was blown out, helping him escape unharmed. No other car on Earth could have done that. That's not engineering, that's sorcery. The hydraulic heart, one system to rule them all. The DS didn't just use hydraulics for the suspension, it used hydraulics for literally everything. This was the truly insane part of the car's design. A single high-pressure pump powered systems that other cars normally separated. 1. Brakes. The DS was one of the first production cars with disc brakes, but instead of a regular pedal, Citroën installed a small rubber button on the floor. Press it, and the hydraulic force slammed the brakes instantly. It was so sensitive that new drivers often stopped harder than they intended. The system didn't forgive hesitation. It was precise, but brutal. 2. Gearbox. The DS offered a semi-automatic transmission called Citroën. There was no clutch pedal. You selected gears manually via a column-mounted lever, and hydraulics handled all the clutch work. This was the 1950s, and Citroën was already building a futuristic half-manual, half-automatic hybrid transmission. 3. Power steering. The hydraulics also powered the steering, making the big sedan easy to maneuver despite its size. Everything was connected, everything was controlled, everything depended on one powerful hydraulic heart. Of course, that also meant another thing. If the system lost pressure, everything failed. Yes, everything. The DS wasn't just innovative, it was bold, risky, and complicated. But that's what made it legendary. A design that didn't just break rules, it erased them. When the DS appeared in 1955, the world was still building square, boxy cars. Citroën said, nope, let's build something that looks like it came from 30 years into the future. The DS had a teardrop-shaped aerodynamic body with a drag coefficient of only 0.36, better than many cars from the 80s and 90s. It sliced through the air like a bullet. Then they installed a fiberglass roof to reduce weight and lower the center of gravity. unheard of at that time. Inside, Citroën threw out the rulebook again. They installed a single-spoke steering wheel, thin, elegant, and designed to collapse safely in an accident. No bulky hub, no sharp metal, just a floating arc of minimalism. And then, in 1967, they added directional headlights, lamps that turned with the steering wheel to light up the direction you were actually turning. Modern cars brag about adaptive headlights today. The DS did it more than half a century ago. The Citroën DS didn't just stand out because it was different. It stood out because it made the entire automotive industry look outdated. When this car hit the streets, every engineer from Germany to Italy to America stared at it in disbelief. How was a French brand, a company known for quirky designs, suddenly a decade ahead of everyone else? The answer was simple. They took risks no one else dared to take. DS Special wasn't just technology, it was the way it felt on the road. The DS didn't drive like a normal car. It didn't bounce, it didn't shake, and it didn't react to bumps the way your brain expects. Instead, it flowed, like the road wasn't a physical surface, but a suggestion. Where American luxury cars relied on soft, floaty springs and huge body roll, and German cars used stiff precision, the DS found a perfect middle ground. Comfort without losing control. Its suspension constantly readjusted itself. Hit a pothole? The system softened instantly. Take a sharp corner? It firmed up to keep the car stable. Even today, Rolls-Royce and Mercedes chase this kind of ride quality and still can't fully replicate that magic feeling the DS mastered 70 years ago. And when parked, the DS didn't just stop, it settled, slowly, gracefully, like a creature resting. That sinking ritual became an iconic part of owning a DS, a beautiful reminder that this wasn't just a machine, it was alive. The central hydraulic system, genius or madness? Both. The DS's entire identity came from one brilliant but slightly insane decision. Give one hydraulic system control of almost everything inside the car. When it worked, it was pure magic. When it failed, every mechanic in France cried. But let's break down the key pieces. 1. The braking system that didn't believe in pedals. Instead of a normal brake pedal, the DS had what people called the mushroom button, a tiny rubber pad on the floor. Press it lightly, the brakes bit hard. Press it harder, the car threatened to send you through the windshield. It was powerful, immediate, and totally unique. Drivers had to learn finesse, but once they mastered it, the stopping power was impressive for its time. 2. The semi-automatic gearbox. You still shifted manually, but there was no clutch pedal. Move the column lever, and the hydraulic brain did the rest. Disengage the clutch, change the gears, re-engage the clutch. Smooth, elegant, decades before modern automated manuals or DSG gearboxes. 3. Power steering. The hydraulics also powered the steering, making the wheel feel incredibly light, but still precise. Parking a DS felt effortless compared to the heavy steering of American cars in the 1950s. Citroën basically said, if it moves, let hydraulics handle it. And it worked. Designed so futuristic, people thought it was impossible. Imagine being a driver in 1955. Cars were boxes with chrome, big fenders, and wooden dashboards. Then the DS appeared, low, smooth, aerodynamic, almost alien. Its shape wasn't chosen for beauty alone. It was engineered to cheat the wind, decades before aerodynamics became a buzzword. The fiberglass roof was a revolutionary touch, lightweight, strong, and exotic. It lowered the center of gravity, helping the DS corner better than almost any other luxury car of the era. And the interior? It wasn't just futuristic, it was intelligent. The single-spoke steering wheel, thin, elegant, and designed to collapse safely in an accident. No bulky hub, no sharp metal, just a floating arc of minimalism. And then, in 1967, they added the directional headlights, lamps that turned with the steering wheel to light up the direction you were actually turning. Modern cars brag about adaptive headlights today. The DS did it more than half a century ago. The Citroën DS didn't just stand out because it was different,
It stood out because it made the entire automotive industry look outdated. The Heist elegantly used hydraulic pressure to adjust its ride height constantly, feeling more like a private jet than a car. Unlike American cars that would sway and drop under load, the DS would instead maintain a consistent ride height. It wasn't just luxury, it was intelligence, a sheer show of engineering prowess. No other car on Earth could have done that. That's not engineering, that's sorcery. A dangerously brave car and a hero in history. No other car can say it saved a president's life, but the DS can. In 1962, assassins opened fire on Charles de Gaulle's DS. One tire blew out instantly. Any normal car would have spun out or crashed. But the DS's hydro-pneumatic suspension compensated immediately, keeping the car level and controllable.
The driver accelerated, the DS stayed stable on 3 wheels, and they escaped. The car became a national symbol of innovation and survival. Why the DS still matters today? Even decades later, luxury brands still borrow concepts from the DS. Self-leveling air suspension, cornering headlights, semi-automatic transmissions, aerodynamic body shapes. Some reviewers say the DS wasn't built ahead of its time, it was built for a time that didn't exist yet. It wasn't a car designed for 1955, it was a car designed for the future, and somehow, Citroën brought that future into the present. The DS remains a reminder that when companies take risks, when designers think differently, and when engineers explore the impossible, the world gets masterpieces. If you want more insane engineering stories like this, cars that bent reality, broke the rules, and changed history, hit that subscribe button right now, drop a like, and tell me in the comments which legendary car you want next. Because here, we don't just talk about cars, we explore the machines that shape the world.